details might be fuzzy, so I apologize for that. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a lovely week. For today's video, I thought I would actually sit down and talk about how I got my mast cell diagnosis, because I know I've said it like a little bit, but I've never actually sat down and talked about it, and I feel like it would be actually very helpful. So yeah, let's hop into it. So I started noticing symptoms for a couple years before anything really dove in. For those who don't know, I have been chronically ill for 11 years now, and I still don't have a diagnosis, like a full one. We have some theories, we have some ideas, but nothing's set in stone. So a lot of the early things happened a while ago, so details might be fuzzy, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I started noticing what I now know are symptoms of mast cell, where I was always itchy, breaking out in hives for no reason, and seemingly just very sick. That was going on for a while, but because it was kind of tied in with everything, I didn't really say anything because I just figured it was just part of it. And that during a lot of those years, I was being told that all of that was normal and that I should stop being dramatic, basically, by my pediatrician, which sucks. But yeah, I kind of thought it was normal for a little while, which sounds crazy out loud, but it's just how it was during that period of time. Cut to 2019, my pediatrician leaves, and so I get a new pediatrician coming in. She is the complete opposite. Very worried about me, very confused why I have yet to see any sort of specialist about this. And so I get sent to a pediatric gastrologist. And she was extremely helpful in making me realize just how sick I was. Unfortunately, by this point, I was already 17. So I wasn't going to be with her for a very long time, but her goal was to simply get some of the base tests done, get kind of those first few things that doctors think might be going on with me tested, figured out, and either moved past or get a treatment plan if that's what it is, so that when I go in to see an adult gastrologist, I kind of had some things under my belt already. So while I was speaking with her one day, I brought up my allergy. Me and my mom had kind of figured out that I might be allergic to some sort of food, because when you have a food allergy, high intense nausea can be a symptom of it, and that's what I was experiencing. For the 3 years, so 8th grade, freshman year, and sophomore year, I was throwing up 2 to 3 times a week, every day, for 3 years, which was absolutely awful. But I had slowly been reducing the amount of wheat after that 3-year period, and me and my mom kind of realized, hey, maybe you're allergic to wheat. And so the gastrologist agreed and said, let's get you into an allergist to get you tested. So that's what I did. This allergist was not the best. I'm not gonna lie. Was very not bad at his job, just seemingly off. And that can just be a personal thing. But we came in and we asked to be tested for a couple of different foods, wheat being one of them. And so we did the poke test, where basically on one arm you get your control, which has one section where you're not supposed to react, and another section where you definitely react. And then on your other arm would be anything that you are getting tested for, so that you can compare the two and see what you are reacting to and what you're not. Unfortunately, when I had this test done, it came back inconclusive because I reacted to the part that you're not supposed to react to. I got a hive from it. And so my doctor then thought maybe because I had been sick for so long, my body was really out of whack. And so I needed some time to calm down to get retested. By this point, I am now 18. It is 2020, a wonderful time of year. So I need to go and see a new allergist, which is my current allergist. That took a little bit. I actually didn't see him until 2021, I think, just because I needed to go to why do I always forget this? A primary care physician. I remembered today. It's like the third video that I tried to say primary care doctor and have completely blanked. But I remembered this time. So, yeah, I needed to get a new primary care doctor to then get a referral to go to a new allergist. And that just takes a while, especially where I live. There aren't that many specialists in general. So when you do go see a specialist, there's usually a very long wait time, just because there's maybe only like there's like 2 allergists. One isn't, both in which are an hour away from me currently. So it's a lot, but we made it. So I go and see this new allergist, masked up, covered, terrified of getting sick. And we sit down and we kind of talk about everything I've already had done and what we want to do moving forward. And so this allergist orders for me to get some blood tests done for my wheat allergy. Just because if it is anaphylaxis, it can be very dangerous to just test it, like, in the office. And so a blood test is much safer, and we were pretty convinced it was anaphylaxis. So he prescribed me with my first EpiPen, which I still have to this day. But he wanted to see the poke test for himself, and so he did a poke test, not wheat, on a few different foods, just to see. I think one of them was like soy and another one was like dairy, just to cover the bases. And sure enough, once again, it came back inconclusive, and I got a hive where I was not supposed to. So he orders one more blood test for MAST cell. I believe the specific one I have is called chronic urticaria, which is when you react to things that you're not supposed to react to. And we waited for the blood test. It came back that I definitely had this, and we started the treatment plan. So the treatment for this was for me to start, actually I started with Zyrtec, because that had been the allergy medication I had taken since I was little for just like seasonal allergies. And so we started with that because we knew it worked. And I was to take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. which sounds like a lot, but it was doctor approved, so it was okay. Unfortunately, I think 6 months in, we found out that all Zyrtec products have wheat in them, and so I needed to switch to what I am taking now, which is Claritin. The same amount, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. So I did this for about a year, and finally it broke, and I was able to slowly start decreasing my dosage. So I started taking 2 in the morning, 1 at night, then 1 in the morning, 1 at night, to what I am doing now, which is 1 in the morning every other day. I haven't quite been able to break this. The goal is to be able to go with no Claritin and be okay. Not quite there yet, but it is much more under control now than it was. But yeah, that is my current state on my mast cell diagnosis. I'm very happy because there's a lot of studies going on right now saying that mast cell could actually be linked to things like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and POTS, which are two those are two conditions that I think I may have, just based on what I've heard online and my own personal research. I think it fits what I am personally experiencing pretty well, and if mast cell is connected to that, then that makes sense. So I think having this diagnosis is really going to help me. Sorry about that, my card filled up. But yeah, I think having this diagnosis is really going to help me in the future to fully figure out what I'm going through. But yeah, I will certainly be taking you guys along on that journey. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down below. Please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. And I will see you next week for a brand new video. Bye!